Today, I will share the cost of retiring on a white sand beach overseas. I've never seen softer or whiter sand anywhere in the world. I left the United States almost 19 years ago. Since leaving America, I've searched for the best places to retire overseas. I've spent more than a couple $100,000 of my own money wandering through 73 countries so far. My search for the best places has always included finding the most beautiful beaches, so I've been interested in this particular beach since my friend Ed first told me about it 5 years ago. Since we are spending the next 4 months wandering around South America, I decided to finally visit this beach while in Brazil. After completing our research in Rio de Janeiro, we hopped on a 2-hour bus to Cabo Frio, Brazil. As I continue, I'll show the video Chung and I took with our feet on the ground in Cabo Frio. Subscribe and ring the bell if you want to watch us travel around the world reviewing the best places to retire. I will cover the 10 factors that many retirees consider when deciding where to retire overseas, including walkability, internet, food, weather, things to do, safety, medical, expat community, visas, real estate, and cost of living. I'll start with the cost of living. Okay, estimated cost of living in Cabo Frio, Brazil. Rents. I found this unfurnished apartment, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 775 square feet, $515 per month, with a long-term lease in the city center. Short-term and vacation rentals are much more expensive. If you want a larger apartment long-term, the rent would be higher, starting around $800 per month US, or more depending upon area and size. Here's the process we use to find great apartments. So we'll show you a table of all expenses in a moment. We'll use $515 US per month for our lower rent estimate and $800 per month for the middle cost of living estimate for expats who want a little more space. Okay, utilities. We estimate that our year-round average for our utilities would be about $60 per month. The utilities would cost more for the larger space, starting at around $90 per month, depending upon size and construction. Groceries. We estimate about $280 per month for groceries. Other expats are likely to spend more in expensive grocery stores and buy more expensive and imported foods, spending more like $380 per month on groceries. Restaurants. We would eat out twice per week in local style restaurants for about $6 to $11 US per meal per person, and 1 or 2 splurges per month of $12 to $20 per meal per person. If you add all that up, we would spend around $220 per month for the two of us in restaurants. We may have a beer here and there, but that's covered below in alcohol. Other expats are likely to eat more often in expensive restaurants and less in local style restaurants, so they would likely spend more like $320 per month for 2 people in restaurants. It is lifestyle dependent. Cell phone data. The cost to get a prepaid SIM card for your unlocked smartphone is about $10 per month. Other expats are likely to buy 2 prepaid SIM cards, so they would probably spend $20 per month. Laundry. Unfurnished apartments generally have no washing machines. Drop-off laundry in the area would charge us about $12 US for 5 kilograms of laundry per week, or $48 per month. Drinking water. Ceramic drinking water filters in Brazil typically cost around $120 to purchase, and the filters require replacement every year at a cost of approximately $100. So we would spend about $12 per month on drinking water. Internet, 50 megabits per second in-home Wi-Fi is about $25 per month. Transportation. Mostly we walked everywhere because we were exploring where we would live if we moved here. Many people also ride bikes, so we would also consider purchasing bicycles. We would use Uber taxi a few times per week, especially at night, to avoid being isolated. So we would spend about $40 per month on Uber. Other retirees may want to pay cash for a used car, but would still need to pay another $300 per month or more for gasoline, repairs, and insurance. Alcohol, which is optional, of course. Domestic beers in Rio are 93 US cents per beer for tall boys. In bars and restaurants, domestic tall boys are around $2.43 US. So we estimate about $100 per month on alcohol for the two of us. Many other expats would spend a higher amount for imported, foreign, or craft beers in convenience stores, bars, and restaurants. So we estimate around $250 per month for two people, assuming they do not drink imported whiskey or wine. Entertainment, which is also optional, we would budget about $200 per month for entertainment for the two of us. We generally enjoy doing more do-it-yourself kinds of entertainment, so other expats would spend a little more, maybe $300 per month for the two of them. Okay, let's add it all up. Estimated costs to retire in Cabo Frio, Brazil. Okay, for the lower estimate, rent $515. These are in US. Utilities $60, groceries $280, restaurants $220, cell data $10, laundry $48, drinking water $12, internet $25, transportation $40. If you sum up all those basic costs, it would be $1,210 per month. Add the optional alcohol would put you at $1,310. Optional entertainment would put you at $1,510 per month. For the middle cost range with the higher rents, utilities, groceries, restaurants, if you add all that up, including the transportation, the basic cost would be $1,995 per month. With the optional alcohol of $300, you'd be at $2,295. Optional entertainment of $300 would put you at $2,595 per month. We gathered this data with our feet on the ground here in November of 2025, so adjust for inflation after that. The above lower estimate would be if the two of us lived in Cabo Frio on a tight budget. The middle estimate is just an example of what more typical expats might spend if they moved here. So what would it cost you to live in Cabo Frio, Brazil? To understand what it costs you to live here, you must put your feet on the ground, see how you would choose to live, eat, and entertain yourself, and add it all up. It doesn't matter what anyone else spends because we are all different. You should also add anything to the above table that you spend money on in your home country that's not listed in the table. Presumably, you find those things necessary in life. To do that, visit Numbeo for Cabo Frio, Brazil, and add anything not mentioned in the above table. Anything not on Numbeo, you should add during your exploratory visit before moving to Cabo Frio. Never move anywhere until you have visited first personally to verify the living costs for your lifestyle and needs. I'm not guaranteeing these prices. These are just my notes and estimates from the time of my visit and this post. Your costs will likely be drastically different. Typically, expats' living costs in Cabo Frio, Brazil range from about $1,600 to $4,200 per month. But people spending that much often have higher savings, incomes, or pensions. They often report spending more on accommodations, entertainment, eating out more, traveling, and alcohol. Many also spend more on expensive cars, houses, or apartments. Okay, Cabo Frio, Brazil, livability factors. Before you move anywhere outside your home country, make sure to create a list of things you must have for your happy retirement. Here are my livability factors, and I will rank each as high, medium, or low before assigning an overall retirement desirability score. Walkability, high. We walked everywhere in Cabo Frio except when going home at night or when bringing groceries home. We used Uber, taxi. Everything was so centralized, we rarely needed to walk more than about 20 minutes. Plus, walking is the healthiest way to stay in shape as we age. Internet, I would say high. The in-home Wi-Fi in our apartment was about 40 megabits per second up and down. Good enough for us to do Zoom calls, upload YouTube videos, and watch Netflix. We were also able to use our cell phones as hotspots when we were out of the house together. Okay, food. I would say medium. The restaurants in Cabo Frio are mostly local Brazilian food, but we did see hamburgers, pizza, and Lebanese food. Some of the more expensive restaurants had international foods like pasta and other international dishes. If we lived here, we would have a tendency to cook at home much of the time because we seem to have a much higher tolerance for spicy foods than we find in the restaurants. And it would be easier to control our food quality and budget by eating at home. Weather, I would say high. Brazil is below the equator, so summer is in December, but the temperatures vary little between seasons. Summer daytime highs average 83 Fahrenheit, which is 28 Celsius in February, down to daytime average winter highs of 75 Fahrenheit, which is 24 Celsius in July. The rainy season occurs during the summer from December to March, with the most rain falls of 200 millimeters or 8 inches in January. Things to do, I would say high. Cabo Frio is mostly known for the beach life on the beautiful long white sand beaches. That includes relaxing on the beach under beach umbrellas while eating food and drinking beer from the food carts. The beach chairs with umbrellas are free so long as you buy your food and drink from the food carts. People also surf, boogie board, and play volleyball. There are boat tours, fishing tours, and booze cruises. The beach life is dead after 6 p.m. when people move to the nightlife areas or enjoy family and friends at home. The nightlife and restaurants are lively in Barrio 𝗕passagem and along the Boulevard Canal. Links provided. There are 2 day trips you must do while in Cabo Frio. You must visit the beautiful, quaint little walking village of 𝗪𝗠𝐻, and you must do a boat tour to see the beautiful ocean and beaches in 𝗪𝗹𝗪𝗃. More on those 2 must-see places at the first link in the description below this video. Okay, social considerations. I would say medium. English is not commonly spoken in Cabo Frio. You'll find a few English speakers in tourist-facing businesses, but not many. If you are unwilling to learn some basic Portuguese language, you will be spending a lot of time on Google Translate. I've met many expats overseas who have used Duolingo, the free language learning smartphone app, to learn various languages. Safety, I would say medium. Safety is more based on neighborhood level than the country level. Make sure to watch my video on how to remain safe all over the world. The main idea is not to get isolated, especially at night. The U.S. State Department issues travel advisories for each part of the world, which you should be aware of. Brazil's level 2 right now. Exercise increased caution. We often travel to level 2 locations, so this was not a big concern for us, but you should be aware of it and listen to my video on safety, which is provided in the safety paragraph at the first link in the description below this video, along with links to everything else. Okay, expat community, I would say low. We didn't find any English-speaking expat communities on Facebook in Cabo Frio. So Cabo Frio would be more for people who are comfortable using Google Translate if they are visiting and to learn Portuguese if they intend to retire or live here long term. Cabo Frio is more for experienced travelers who are comfortable overcoming language barriers or already speak Portuguese. So learn how to use Google Translate in multi-language live conversations on your smartphone before arriving. I provide a link on how to do that. Medical, I would say high. The Healthcare International Comparison Index ranks Brazil 83rd in the world, which is not quite as good as the United States, which ranks 69th in the world. There are different ways healthcare is rated, but this rating system seems to be considering not only the quality of care, but also what patients are charged. The good news is that Brazil's public healthcare system is free for all citizens and visitors as mandated by the country's constitution. Several tourist videos report receiving free treatment in hospitals in Brazil. There are a couple of hospitals in Cabo Frio, but it is a smallish town. So for more complicated procedures, They may just stabilize you and you will need to go to Rio for further treatments or procedures. Okay, tourist visa. I would say hi. Australia, Canada, and the United States are countries whose citizens are currently required to get a digital e-visa for tourism and business travel to Brazil for 90 days. Other countries should check the embassy in their home country to verify the conditions of entries or at this link provided. Okay, retirement visa. You must demonstrate 2,000 US per month pension or equivalent and prove you are retired in your home country, provide a clean criminal record, and prove you have health insurance if the application is made outside of Brazil. A link provided for those. You can probably do this yourself, but if you want a lawyer, I would request a referral to a lawyer on one of the expat Facebook pages for other cities in Brazil, like Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo. I would ask the expats there for an immigration lawyer who they use personally to get their retirement visa. Real estate. Okay, foreigners can own land in Brazil, although there are some limitations and significant complications, even for Brazilians. This newish condo in a good area of Cabo Frio is 150,000 US. It's 2,000 square foot, 3 bedroom, 3 bath with a balcony. I would not buy real estate in a foreign country until I've lived there for an extended period of time, making sure I still love it after the honeymoon period is over. I have a report explaining what to look out for and why. I would also hire a lawyer who has no conflict of interest with me. Do not use a lawyer recommended by your real estate broker or your local lover. I would seek a referral from an expat who has used that lawyer's services to successfully buy real estate. Cabo Frio, Brazil, overall retirement desirability score. I would say medium. This would not be a good fit for most people unless you're experienced living overseas and willing and capable of learning Portuguese. But for the adventurous types and those willing to learn Portuguese, you may love it here. Okay, the report, the first link below also has 2 day tours you have to take. It also includes links to all the restaurants, my safety tips, and where we stayed in Cabo, and how we got to Cabo from Rio. It also includes the restaurants and other services we used while in Cabo Frio at links in the first link in the notes below this YouTube video. Make sure to grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 18 years. Click the video in the upper right-hand corner of your screen right now to see all of the other videos on retiring in Brazil.